Hello friends, thank you so much for joining me today. So welcome to my Tuesday video. We are going to have a little fun today. We're going to be doing a fun technique. I did share this in my shorts this past Friday, so hopefully you caught that. If not, you'll see it again today. So it's a really cool technique and you're going to love what you can do with it. So let's get the camera turned down so we can get started. So last week I was busy in my craft room. I was trying to think of some easy cards that we could make. I had said that I was going to be doing this series in the summer to get out of the craft room quick, right? So I was kind of trying to think of what could I do. So I came up with this cool, fun, easy design, but it's a wow design. And all these cards, there's like 8 of them here. It took me maybe about 30 minutes to make. So they're, different. I used different DSP on some of them. And then if you'll notice, most of them are just stamped. So it's very easy to make. You need minimal supplies. And then I did do a couple of them where I actually die cut them out of the back, the matte piece here. And for this one, and then on this one, I die cut it out of this matte piece here. And then what happened was I actually ran out of the peach pie glitter paper. So all I had was white. And then I said, oh, I wonder if I can make my own. And I did. Now you'll notice it is much lighter than the one that is dyed, but not too bad. So it gives it a different look. So we're going to be making this card today, and I'm going to walk you through the entire process. So let's get started. All right. Using Cutest Crew, I really just need the sentiment out of here because I am going to be using these beautiful gilded butterflies. I think that's what they're called. Yep. Gilded wings accents. So here, oh yeah, you could see them. Aren't they beautiful? So I'm going to be using these on the card. I won't be stamping an image, but like I said, I'm going to be doing happy birthday and, or have the best day. Not sure yet. One of the two. So we're using that. Then we're also using I think this is called shimmering paper. Let's see, shimmering stripes. So aren't they just gorgeous? Look at that. There's like these silver stripes running through it. I don't know if it's picking it up on the camera. Hopefully it is. I'm not sure if it is though. But anyway, take my word for it. They're beautiful. And we're going to be coloring these using our blending brushes and Pretty Peacock. So we're going to do that. This package comes in a pack of 4. So plenty of them in here. Of course, I'll probably be hoarding it. And then the other one I'm using is Beautiful Ordinary Life. It has these beautiful watercolory DSP in different shades and patterns. And then on the back side, it's black and white. So we have these cool leaf, or this actually reminds me of like a quilt is what that reminds me of. And we have some stripes with Flirty Flamingo, some honeycombs in Daffodil Delight, Pool Party, and I think that's it. And then this one here where it's watercolory. So we'll be using that. All right, so let's see what we're going to do first. I think what I want to do first is I want to start by, and let me get a piece of scrap paper, adding color to that little piece here. So let's see. We're going to add color to this with the blending brush and our Pretty Peacock. So I'm going to zoom in here just a bit, like so. That should be good. Okay, we're going to get Pretty Peacock opened up. Now I'm doing this first because I do want it to dry a little before we get it on the card, because the ink will just kind of lay there and we don't want it rubbing off. So I'm going to come off the paper just a bit. Although, we're going to just start in the center here. That's it. Because you know what? I'm covering the whole piece, so it really doesn't matter if I blotch too much. And plus this is going to be covered up. Although I am going to be doing something with that center because we don't want to waste it. So you can see I'm just starting lightly. And then you can keep adding color and making it darker, or you can stop and just keep it light. So I'm going to pick this up in just a second. I'll just add the rest of this. It doesn't take too long to do this. However, you, like I said, if you keep wanting to add color to make it darker and darker, then yes, of course, it's going to take a little bit of time. But you can see, though, that sparkly, shimmery stripes are even coming through, even with the ink added to it. So I think that just makes it so pretty. And you can do this in any color. It doesn't have to be pretty peacock. You can do it in any color that will match your card very nicely. And I figured since I didn't have a pretty peacock glitter paper, why not just make my own, right? So here, let me show this to you. So I just added that first layer on there. Let's see. Yeah, I think you can pick it up like that. Sometimes these lights make it good, sometimes it doesn't. So hopefully you can see that I added some color. And I'm going to let that dry. Now I did finish one ahead of time just to save us time. And you could see the difference, how much darker the one in the right is versus the one that I just did now. So we'll just use this piece. So let me close this up so I don't stick my fingers in it, which I think I just did. No, I did not. Okay, so we'll set that aside. And let's see, this is the one that I need here. All right, so, and I also have a little piece here that I did. So I'm going to leave this in here. All right. So let's see, for my pieces, I have Pretty Peacock, Basic White, and I think, I wasn't sure, these are just scrap pieces. Here, let me zoom back out again. There we go. So these are just scrap pieces that I had laying around, and I think I want to use this part of it versus the bottom part. I thought about this piece, but I think there's too much daffodil delight there, so we'll use that for another card. All right, so these here for just a minute. All right, let's do this first, and then I'll cut the basic white piece. All right, so this piece I need it to be 4 inches by 5 1/4. So it's already 4 inches. I'm just going to cut this down to 5 1/4, which is right about there. Perfect. Like that. Save that for another card. I'll put that aside. All right, so that there. Now for the basic white, the reason I'm using a whole sheet is because we can make 2 cards out of the 1 piece of DSP, because we're going to be cutting this down diagonally. So what you want to do first is you want to score. So I'm going to score the full sheet, which is 8.5 by 11 at 4 1/4. So I'll just put that there. Sure it's up against the lip there here. And we're going to score this. And then I'm going to spin it around. And I'm going to cut it down to 5 1/2, and this gives us the 2 card bases. So just cut that right down the middle. I've got 2 card bases. I'm going to open the arm and use the bottom lip here. You can't see that. I think I'm zoomed just a little too much. Let me move these things out of the way. Put my trimmer up there. So the trimmer has this little lip down here, which is nice because I like to use that to line up the edges of my card so that they sit nicely, and then I can burnish them. I'll do the same for the second piece. Oh, look at that. I already got something on there. I don't even know how that happened. Okay, so we can, I think I'm actually done with the trimmer. Put that away. Let me get my bone folder. And we'll burnish these nicely. I like to do both sides to keep them nice and flat. Oh, I do need the trimmer. Forgot I have to cut that 4" by 5¼ inch piece of DSP in half diagonally. The most important part. Okay, so I'm just going to put this in my trimmer, and I am looking for the top point to be in the track and then the bottom point to be in the track. So I'm just going to hold it and kind of just spin it around until both of them are in the track, like so. Then what I want to do is I want to put my blade in the center so it's not, because what happens is if you're starting from the top or the bottom, you might actually bend the paper. So you want to start that way and that way. Okay, now we're done with the trimmer. All right, so we have our 2 triangles. So one is going to go on one card, and you could put these both in the same spot if you wanted to. They will fit. Or you can do one on the top and one on the bottom, which is what I'm going to do. All right, so we're going to set that aside. Let's get some glue out. And we will add some glue to this. Oh, see, that is upside down. And I think this one's upside, nope, this one's good. Okay, so now I have it right side up. So I'm going to put this one on the bottom. So we're just going to add a little bit of glue. And then I'm going to look for an equal margin on the left and bottom side of this. And I have liquid glue, so I can wiggle it around a little bit to where I want it. Right about there is good. Perfect. Okay, and we'll do the same for this one. So perfect. Very nice. And I just remembered I do need the trimmer for one more thing. I have this little strip here that I did. Oops, I just smacked my phone. Okay. And we're just going to cut this in half. So this piece is like 3/4 inch. It's just a scrap piece, but it's 3/4 inch. So I'm going to cut it down half, which is about, I think 3/8 is half of 3/4. So when I'm working with narrow pieces like that, I want to put the arm down gently and then go upwards versus down, because if you go down, you might actually move the cardstock. Okay, so those are there. Okay, now I think I'm really done with the trimmer. Let's see. Let's see if we're done with the trimmer. Okay, so next what I want to do is I'm going to adhere these 2 pieces. Oh, you know what? I do need that other piece. So I do need that other piece. So I do need this piece and these pieces here. Okay. So I guess we're going to do it lighter for the second piece. Okay, so I want to just add this down now, and I'm just going to go along the edge and keep away from the center, because what I want to do is, rather than wasting this beautiful paper, the cardstock and the beautiful DSP that we created, we're going to punch a hexagon out of there. So let's do that, and that's why I didn't put any in the center. So I'm going to get my hexagon, I'm going to turn it upside down. This is the heartfelt hexagon punch, and I'm going to look for the center of the card, and I'm going to flip it back over because it is going through 2 pieces, so it will be a little tough. Although I think this DSP, okay, I was going to say it's kind of thin, so I think I'll be okay, which I was. The other cards that I did So we're not gonna use these actually. We will use these in another card. So I'm just gonna put those aside. So this is gonna go here, and I'm going to put this on dimensionals, but let me do the other piece first. I'm getting ahead of myself. So for this one, I have cloud cover. So we're just gonna add this the same way. I'm gonna just get my hexagon punch again. And I will punch the same thing out of here. So you're getting 2 tips in one video. There we go. And we'll save this for another card. Okay. I'm noticing something though. This doesn't look like it's adhering very well, so let's sit for a minute. Alright. Now let's put these on the inside. These are going to go, I'll put one on this side, just like so. Gives it a little bit of finishing touch on the inside. So I'm actually going to add the adhesive to the card base rather than fighting with that little piece. This makes it much easier for me. Okay, just adds a little touch to the inside. And then this one we'll put on this side. Okay, so I'm just going to add the glue to here. I hope everybody had a good 4th of July weekend and you had a safe one. I went to see my mother-in-law, who I haven't seen since Easter, so it's been a long time. So we had a nice visit. And then we drove back on Sunday. We left there probably about 10. It takes about 2 hours and 35 minutes or so. We hit a little bit of traffic on the way back, but nothing crazy. It was really, we were just about home by the time we hit the traffic, so, which isn't surprising. So, a lot of construction going on. A lot of construction. All right, let me close up this glue. I don't need it for now. So I'm going to add the dimensionals on both of these pieces. I'll take the backs off. All right, so we're going to put these on the front. And you see how they're got this little jagged edge here? I'm not worried about that because that's going to be covered up. So I'm looking for about equal spacing on all sides. Now, don't worry, nobody's going to see that. We're going to cover that up with our white piece. Do the same for this one. Just looking for equal spacing. It's not going to be perfect, but pretty near perfect. See how it kind of lines up on that edge and this edge? So I think that came out good. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put dimensionals on the inside here. So that way, when we lay this down, it doesn't like sink in there. So let's just do that really quick. So I've got the dimensionals put in the centers here. So I'm going to set these aside. I also took off the backings. And let's work on these pieces now. So let me get the butterfly. Let's see, which butterfly do I want to put in here? I've got a couple of them that are already just kind of floating around. So let's just grab those. Let's see. I don't want them to be too big. I mean, this one's kind of big. This one's the better size that I want. Well, I think it'll be fine. I think we'll be fine. I'm just going to leave it. All right, so let's see. We're going to poke out these little pieces, though. Get something to hold them and corral them. Otherwise, they're going to get all over the place. So actually, you know what I'm going to do? Where's that little box? I got it. I have an idea. I'm going to use this tool, which is, yes, it's in here. So I've just got this little attachment. I'm just going to rub across them. Makes it much easier than doing it individually. And then any of them that get stuck in here, we'll just do those. We'll just poke them out. tool, just poke out these little dots. All right, so you know what? I think this is meant to go on top here. That's what I think it's supposed to do. I think that's supposed to go on the top because this looks kind of weird by itself, doesn't it? All right, so let me see. We'll put a dab of, actually, let's do this. Oh, there we go. I smacked my hand again. I'm going to use some glue dots. I think that'll be the easiest way to attach the butterfly. The least messy way. And then we'll put the butterfly on with some dimensionals. I'm just going to add some, just one or two. I think should be more than enough. Actually, one's probably enough. Yeah, I think one's enough. Okay, so I'm just going to set this right on top. Just overlay it like so. There. And so now the wings are fluttering. Okay, and then this I can add with a couple of dimensionals, which I just had them. Oh, here they are. Now I'm not going to put this down yet because I need to stamp my sentiment, but I am going to place it so I know where it needs to go. Just right about there. Okay, so let's see. Let's see, we're going to do happy birthday. That right about here I think is good. All right. Pick that up. But I think I want to put this down. I think I'll be fine. I think we'll be fine. Okay, let me get my pretty peacock. Okay, we'll ink that up. And then we will put it right about here. And I see that I got some ink on the block. I don't want it going onto the butterfly. All right, so we're just gonna, it's very wet. I'm just gonna put that right here. About there, I think is good. Perfect. Put this on here now. We're just going to lay that down. Make sure I press those down. And we're just going to, actually, you know what I need to do? I need to put some glue around the edge. And I will also add a drop on here so then I can wiggle it into place. So I'm putting a little bit of glue onto the dimensionals as well. I see one dimensional here is hanging off the butterfly, but that's okay. I'm not going to worry about that. All right, so we'll just put this right in the center. Doesn't that look so pretty? So pretty, and such an easy card to make. All right. So, there's the first one, all done. Okay, isn't that pretty? Oh, I just love the way that looks. So much dimension on there. All right, let's, I need more butterflies. I need more butterflies. I love that these are already laser cut for me. Just pull them off. What would have been even nicer is if there was adhesive on them. That would be perfect then. But it's all right. So I can put dimensionals on the back, or, you know. All right, let's take off these little bits. Oops. Got stuck right in there. All right, so we got that all cleaned up. Hopefully this fits on here. It does. It overlaps it a little, but that's okay. Gives it a little more character, right? Okay, so let's put a couple of glue dots on here. Center here. So come up a little bit. About there. Okay. I think that looks good. Goodish. It's one good thing about the glue dots. You kind of could move it around a little bit. Okay, so I think that's good. We can put these away. And my paper is here. And I think for this one we'll say have the best day. Have the best day. That could be for anything, right? But I think I'm going to stack it though. So let's see. No, you know what? Let's just do this. We're going to do this. I think we're going to do that. Okay. Put that here and the butterfly about there. Like so, I think. I think that looks good. A little different. Okay. Ink this up. Oh, oops, make that straight. Okay, so we'll put that right about here, I think. Good. Perfect. We can put this one on here now. Let's put some dimensionals here, which are right here. Misplacing these dimensionals. And for this one, I could put it right about here. It's about center. Okay. All right, so we'll put some gems on this, and then actually let me close this before something happens, like I drop something in it. Okay, so I have some rhinestone basic jewels, and I think these would be perfect on here, but let me put the white back under there so I can see where they are. Okay, I haven't used these in such a long time. I used to use them all the time, I feel. Now, I don't that much anymore. Let's see, should I put one here? Put one right on the body of the butterfly, if I can get it off the Take Your Pick tool. Beautiful. And we'll do one up here. Put one over here. Another one down here. Okay. And we'll do the same on this one. Now, because this butterfly is a little bit bigger, I think I might put two on the body. Wish I had thought about it. I would have put a dimensional in the center. I feel like it's sagging there. You know what? We'll just leave one. Okay. We'll just scatter these. We'll scatter these around. Put one up here. I think these are all the same size. I always thought they were different sizes, but I think they're all the same size. And there. Okay, so there you go. So friends, I hope you enjoyed that beautiful card. The card base is really very simple. Doesn't take much time to make. I mean, I guess, you know, with these little butterflies, it did take a little bit longer than I wanted to, so. But we're good to go. So here are my other samples. I did use that same stamp set, Cutest Crew, And I made this adorable card for a friend who recently got some kittens. So I thought, what a perfect card for her. I think she's going to love it. And then this one has some pretty butterflies. Now you'll notice the butterflies are kind of mirroring. I wonder how she did that. Well, come back for one of my shorts and you'll see how I did that. Friends, thank you so much for watching my video. Please be sure to leave a comment so this way other people can find my video who may not know about me. And make sure you share it with your crafty friends. And I will see you on Friday with another shorts. Take care. Bye-bye.